Okay, so you know those movies about Wall Street, the ones with the crazy trading floors, everyone yelling, phones ringing off the hook?
Oh yeah, total chaos.
Right. But have you ever wondered if that's actually what it's like to be a securities trader?
It's a question I get a lot, actually.
Well, today we're diving deep into the world of securities trading to separate fact from fiction. And luckily, you sent us all these incredible RoleCatcher guides to help us out.
Yeah, these guides are great. They have so much info packed in.
They really do. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's address the elephant in the room, that whole Wall Street stereotype.
Right, because it's not all champagne and yachts. Though there might be some of that.
Well, maybe. But seriously, what's the reality of this career path? Because the guides paint a picture that's a bit more, shall we say, grounded.
Definitely. For one thing, the projected growth of this field is a pretty good indicator that it's more than just a flash in the pan. We're talking about a projected 4% increase in jobs between 2019 and 2029.
Wow, that's actually a lot higher than I would have guessed.
Right, so clearly the skills of a securities trader are valuable and in demand.
That's a good point. So let's ditch the Hollywood image for a second and dig into what these financial wizards actually do.
Because it's more than just yelling, buy, sell, all day. Though that does still happen sometimes.
I bet. But one thing that surprised me from the Rollcatcher guides was the emphasis on meticulous record keeping.
Oh, absolutely. That's crucial. Every trade, every single decision a securities trader makes, it's all recorded.
And not just for their own records, right?
Right. It's often scrutinized by regulators, so we're talking serious accountability here.
Wow, so one tiny mistake could mean big trouble.
Oh yeah, both legally and financially. It's a level of detail that even surprised me when I first started digging into this.
Wow, talk about pressure. And speaking of pressure, the guides definitely don't sugarcoat the intensity of this job. It's high stakes with long, long hours, and you constantly have to be one step ahead.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But honestly, that's also where the appeal comes in for a lot of people. High risk, high reward. We're talking about significant earning potential and the chance to work with cutting-edge technology.
It's true, you can't have those massive wins without taking some risks. But it's not just about having nerves of steel, right? You need serious brain power, too. I mean, the amount of data these traders have to process is mind-boggling.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about raw intelligence either. It's about being able to stay calm under pressure, think critically, and make lightning-fast decisions based on constantly changing information.
So it's this fascinating blend of analytical skills, market knowledge, and just a touch of gut instinct.
Exactly. And don't forget the tech side of things. It's amazing how technology is changing the game for securities traders. I mean, AI, machine learning, it's revolutionizing everything from how trades are executed to how investment strategies are developed.
It's incredible. And a little intimidating, to be honest.
Oh, for sure. But think about it. Algorithms can now analyze mountains of data in milliseconds, spotting trends and patterns that would take a human trader days, maybe even weeks to uncover.
It's like having a superpower.
Right. We're talking about identifying shifts in market sentiment, economic indicators, even analyzing news headlines, all in the blink of an eye, all to make those split-second trading decisions.
That's wild. So if anyone out there still pictures a securities trader as some guy in a suit who only cares about numbers,
Think again.
seriously.
Yep.
One of the things that really struck me while going through these Rollcatcher guides was the unexpected range of educational backgrounds that can actually lead to a career in trading.
You know, it makes perfect sense when you consider how multifaceted the job is. Yeah. Sure, a strong foundation in finance is important, but it's not the be-all and end-all.
It's like the more diverse your knowledge base, the better you'll be at connecting the dots in the market.
Exactly. And that's what makes this career path so interesting. You could have someone with a degree in physics sitting next to someone with a degree in international relations, both thriving as securities traders.
Wow, that's so cool. So from those early days as a junior trader all the way up to maybe one day becoming head of trading, what does that career ladder actually look like?
Well, luckily for us, RoleCatcher lays out a pretty clear progression, starting with that entry-level junior trader role.
Which, if I remember correctly, involves a lot of assisting with trades, doing research, and crunching numbers, kind of like an apprenticeship, right?
Exactly. It's all about building that foundational knowledge and getting a feel for the rhythm of the market.
So as they gain experience, they might move on to executing trades independently, maybe even managing client relationships as they become a full-fledged trader.
Right. And that's where things get really interesting, because now you're not just following orders, you're developing your own investment strategies, managing risk, and building a track record.
It's like leveling up in the trading game.
Exactly. And from there, it could lead to a senior trader position, maybe mentoring a team of junior traders, shaping the strategy for the entire trading desk.
Hmm. And if you're really killing it, maybe even taking the reins as head of trading, overseeing all the trading operations.
Talk about a career trajectory. But even if you're just starting out, it's clear that continuous learning is key in this field, which is where those certifications come in.
Right, like the CFA and FRM that RoleCatcher mentions.
Exactly. Think of them as the gold standard in the finance world. They show potential employers that you have that deep understanding of investment management, ethical practices, basically everything you need to stand out.
Like the CFA, for example. It covers everything from ethics to portfolio management, and it's highly respected in the industry.
Exactly. It's a strong signal to employers that you've gone above and beyond to master those essential skills.
It's clear that RoleCatcher is a seriously powerful tool for anyone serious about breaking into the world of securities trading. But what I find really intriguing is this whole concept of reverse matching with employers.
Oh yeah, that's a game changer. Instead of you endlessly searching for the perfect job, imagine employers on RoleCatcher coming to you because your skills and experience are a perfect match for their needs.
So instead of sending out resumes into the void and hoping for the best,
Your profile is doing the work for you, highlighting your unique skills and experience to the right people. It's like having a personal headhunter powered by AI.
that's amazing. But even with all the technology in the world, you still need to be prepared for that interview. And luckily, RoleCatcher seems to have that covered too.
Totally. They have this awesome database of practice interview questions, all tailored specifically for securities trader roles.
So we're talking about questions about your understanding of market trends, your risk management philosophy, the works.
Oh, absolutely. They cover it all. And some of those questions are designed to really see how you think on your feet.
Like that one, can you describe a time when a trade you executed did not go as planned? How did you handle it?
Oh, yeah, that's a classic. They want to see how you handle pressure, how you analyze your mistakes, and what you learned from the experience.
Because, let's be real, in the world of securities trading, not every trade is going to be a home run.
Right. They're looking for resilience, analytical thinking, and the ability to stay calm and make smart decisions when the stakes are high.
It sounds like being a successful securities trader takes a unique combination of skills, knowledge, and personality. But there's another layer to this career path that we haven't even touched on yet, the impact of technology.
Right. We've talked about AI and algorithms, but let's really dive into how those technologies are transforming the work of a securities trader.
It's crazy to think, like, back in the day, it was all about those frantic trading floors, people yelling, phones ringing off the hook.
Totally, like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
But yet these days, it's algorithms making thousands, even millions of trades per second.
It's mind-blowing, and that's why those RoleCatcher guides put so much emphasis on things like computer science and engineering skills,
Yeah.
right? It's not enough to just understand finance anymore.
Right. You've got to understand the tech that's driving everything.
Yeah,
Because now you're almost competing against the machines in a way.
that's kind of what I was thinking. So how does a human trader even stand a chance?
Well, it's not really about competing against the machines, but more like, how can you use their power to your advantage?
Ah, I see.
A skilled securities trader can leverage those algorithms to, say, backtest different strategies, manage risks more effectively, maybe even uncover opportunities that a human might miss.
It's like having, like, a super-powered financial assistant in your back pocket.
Exactly. But even with all this automation, we shouldn't discount the importance of human experience and intuition.
That's good to know because I was starting to think, are robots going to take over Wall Street?
Not quite. Judgment, intuition, the ability to adapt to a sudden market shift,
Yeah.
those are things algorithms just can't replicate.
So it's still a people business at its core.
Absolutely. The best traders are the ones who can combine their own knowledge with the power of technology.
So you need both the brains and the algorithms.
Exactly. It's about knowing when to trust your gut, when to trust the data, and when to just go with the flow.
Go with the flow in the stock market. That sounds a little scary. But I guess that's where those years of experience come in, right? Learning from both the wins and the losses.
100%.
Yeah.
Because in the world of securities trading, not every decision is going to be perfect. It's about how you react, how you adapt.
Makes sense. Speaking of adapting, let's go back to RoleCatcher for a sec. They have this cool feature that analyzes your CV and tells you if you have any skills gaps.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It's super helpful for anyone who's thinking, hey, securities trading sounds awesome, but Do I actually have what it takes?
Right, because I'm sure they get that question a lot.
All the time.
Mm.
But yeah, their AI looks at your skills, compares them to actual job descriptions, and highlights where you might need to, beef up your resume a bit.
That's amazing. It's like having a personal career coach in your pocket. And it's not just about skills, right? It's also about those certifications we talked about earlier.
Exactly. The CFA, the FRM, those can really make you a more competitive candidate.
And let's not forget about that reverse matching feature.
Oh, right. Imagine, instead of you chasing after jobs, the employers come to you because your profile just screams, hire me.
It's like having a direct line to the people who are actually hiring. But, okay, let's say you get that interview. Even with all the fancy algorithms and AI, you still have to be able to nail those tough questions.
Oh, for sure. That's where RoleCatcher really shines, though.
Yeah.
They have this whole database of practice interview questions, and they're not easy.
Oh, I bet. Give me an example.
Okay, how about this? How would you explain a complex financial instrument, like a derivative or something, to a client who knows nothing about finance?
Ooh, yeah, that's a tough one.
Right. And it gets to the heart of what a securities trader does. It's not just about crunching numbers. You have to be able to communicate those complex ideas in a way that anyone can understand.
Because at the end of the day, it is about working with people, building relationships, right?
Totally. Building trust, managing expectations, sometimes even calming people down when the market takes a dip. It's a lot like being a therapist, actually.
A therapist with a Bloomberg terminal.
Exactly. But seriously, that human element is so crucial because you're dealing with people's money, their investments, their financial futures. It's a big responsibility.
No pressure, right? But I can see how someone who thrives in that kind of environment would find it really rewarding.
Totally. It's intellectually stimulating, it's fast-paced, and yeah, it can be incredibly lucrative. But it's not for everyone.
Definitely not. So to kind of sum up what we've talked about so far, it seems like being a successful securities trader takes this amazing mix of intelligence, resilience, and a genuine passion for the markets.
Absolutely. And you can't forget about the tech side of things. You need to be comfortable with algorithms, AI, all of that.
It's like the perfect storm of brains, tech, and a little bit of luck.
Maybe. But one thing's for sure, with the right tools and resources like what RoleCatcher provides, breaking into this field is more attainable than ever.
That's good news for anyone who's been watching those Wall Street movies, dreaming of making it big. But as we've learned, the reality of the job is a lot more nuanced and
Interesting.
totally. But even with the best tools in the world, success ultimately comes down to the individual, right? Their drive, their work ethic, their ability to just keep learning and growing.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Speaking of learning and growing, we've only just scratched the surface of what it takes to truly thrive as a securities trader. One area we haven't really explored yet is this idea of staying ahead of the curve.
Right. Because in a field that's constantly changing, evolving at warp speed, how do you even begin to keep up?
It really does feel like a never-ending race to stay ahead. So how does a securities trader even begin to keep up with all that change?
That's where that commitment to continuous learning comes in. The RoleCatcher guides, they really hammer that point home. You've got to stay on top of market trends, read all the industry publications, go to conferences, even those webinars everyone loves to hate.
So much for that whole lean back and watch the money roll in fantasy.
Right. This is definitely not a career for someone who just wants to punch the clock. You need that inherent curiosity, that drive to constantly be learning and growing.
Makes sense. But it's not just about the volume of information, right? It's also about being able to cut through the noise.
Oh, 100%. Think about it. You've got news headlines bombarding you, economic data coming out every other minute, company reports. It's overwhelming.
It's information overload.
Exactly. And a good securities trader, they know how to sift through all of that and find the signals that actually matter, the ones that are going to give them an edge.
It's almost like being a detective, right? Looking for clues, piecing together a story.
That's a great analogy because you have to be able to connect the dots, see the patterns that other people might miss.
And I'm guessing that those patterns are constantly shifting too.
All the time. What worked yesterday might not work today. That's why you have to be so adaptable, always willing to reevaluate your strategies, adjust to new information.
It sounds both exhilarating and exhausting, but I can see how, for the right person, that constant challenge could be a huge part of the appeal.
Oh, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, you're not just playing a game with numbers.
Right, there are real-world implications to all of this.
Absolutely. Securities traders, they play a vital role in the global economy. They help companies raise capital, they manage investments for individuals, for institutions, they keep those financial markets running smoothly.
It's easy to forget about that bigger picture when you're laser focused on the next trade.
For sure. But every trade, every investment decision, it creates this ripple effect. It impacts businesses, retirement funds, people's lives.
It's a huge responsibility.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's also what makes this career path so incredibly fulfilling.
Well said. So, to kind of bring it all back full circle, I think we've learned that the world of securities trading is a lot more than just those fast-paced trading floors we see in the movies.
Right. It's about meticulous analysis, it's about constant learning, and it's about being comfortable with, well, a certain level of chaos.
Controlled chaos, hopefully.
Exactly. But it's also about that human element we talked about, the intuition, the relationship building skills.
Mhm.
You need both the head and the heart to really succeed.
And with all these incredible technological advancements, the skills and insights of a securities trader are only becoming more valuable, right?
Absolutely. This is a field with a really bright future. And thanks to platforms like RoleCatcher, the path to success is becoming more transparent, more accessible for anyone who's willing to put in the work.
So if you're out there listening and thinking, maybe a career in securities trading is for me, what's the one piece of advice you would give them?
Don't be afraid to dive in. Embrace the challenge, be a lifelong learner, and remember, the biggest risk is not taking any risk at all.
Love it. And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into the world of securities trading. Hopefully you learned something new today, and who knows, maybe we've even inspired a few future trading titans.